Good morning and welcome to my channel. My name is Shoshana, and I want to start by thanking each and every one of you uh, for being here. And today I want to talk a little bit about manifestation, but I want to come at it from a different direction because the completion of any project or any process is bringing it into existence. So in any kind of process so that we have the final form is bringing it into something that is tangible, right? So as we're going through this spiritual awakening, we are understanding all sorts of things. And at some point, we start feeling the need or a calling or a pushing or internal, almost like something that wants to be born from us, something like we're bursting at the seams almost, something that wants to be expressed through us. And this is also part of the process because that is the when it starts turning, when it starts shifting from just an idea and I'm receiving, and now it's like you could see it as an energy flow, right? So you are receiving until you cannot, and until you are bursting, and then you start also uh, um, giving. So you start allowing that energy to flow through you completely, right? Because this physical form, this physical plane is the playing field where everything gets to play out on. So when you start going through your spiritual awakening, you have all these high realizations and understandings, and you're working through your psychology of everything, and finding all of your sticking points and freeing yourself from. There's so many different ways to talk about this and to see this and to perceive this, and all are true simultaneously. So there's so many different directions to come at this, and what we're doing in these videos and what we're doing in these talks and discussions is we're coming at it from so many different directions. We're coming at it from the mystical, from the psychological, from the physical plane, from the way that we behave in the physical form to the way that we understand and receive messages from higher beings, from entities, there's so many different aspects, different dimensions that we are able and capable of going through. So, and any kind of process that we're going through, the final graduation is bringing it into some kind of manifestation, bringing it into this physical form, this physical playing field, I should say, because it could also be like a course. It could be, it is realizing whatever it is that is flowing through you, all of the, having all of those ideas. At first it's like a cloud and it's going through you, and these energies are coming into you, and you're understanding all of this stuff. And then it's taking all of that and being able to form something of it that is comprehensible, understandable. It's almost like putting your idea into something that you can give to the world, either in the physical form. It could be knowledge that you give to the world and you put out there, but it is like creation of something, an entity that you put your own energy into. It's a form of telepathy, right? Even speech is a form of telepathy. And the way that we act is a form of telepathy. We are giving messages to the world, allowing the world to understand things that we understand. So when we have words, it's putting it into words are the highest vibration of the physical form, because we are making a vibration that is making a sound that somebody else can perceive with their ears, and we are giving information through that. So it's a form of telepathy. We're taking our thoughts and producing them into something. So that is like the simplest, I want to say highest, but let's say highest vibrational form of, and even that, it's not exact, but it's something that is accessible to us all to be able to manifest. We manifest words, and that's why our words are like magic. What we say comes to be. Our words are magic. And as we think, our words will always reflect that. Even if we're trying to hide it and we think we're being sneaky or manipulative, or we're trying to act like we're someone else, the perspective that you live in will always be portrayed in the words and the way that you speak. Because if I come from a place of, let's say, one of the things that in my spiritual work is coming from a home where there was always the illusion of lack, that there isn't enough. And I know that this is a big one for many people, coming from a place of feeling like there isn't enough. And this is society. It's also society. It's one of the illusions of the consensus of the controlling the masses to believe that there isn't enough, so that they are constantly running and keeping the machine going, keeping the people in line. You know, from when we're born, from when we're babies, we're already starting to be manipulated, brainwashed, or conformed, or what is the word? There's a perfect word here. Conditioned. We start getting our conditioning from going to daycare because our parents are so busy running around trying to make a living. My daughter sent me this thing with these two polar bears, and it's really funny because there's like two scenes. And so in the first scene, the one polar bear is telling the other one, "Want to play human or human?" And the other one says, "Yeah." And then they show them like in this house where the one is in the window saying, "Oh, I have so many depressions," and the other one's outside and saying, um, said something about, "Oh no, I need enough gas to go to work to make sure I have enough gas to go to work tomorrow," or something like that. And it just cracked me up because it's like a humoristic way of looking at that run and that chase after our own tails and waiting for the pension. And then we go out to pension and that's it. We're already the years where we had the most energy, the most capability was given to feed the system so that we could have money to feed ourselves and just to keep ourselves in the system running. And so just being able to see that, just being able to perceive that. I'm not going into well, what's the alternative? But we need money to eat, but I don't want to be homeless. But that is the way that society, just be able to perceive it. It's just to be able to wait a second, come out of it and look at it and kind of see it as comical, kind of see it as like we are the only species on the planet that gets up in the morning and doesn't know that we are just worthy because we are. I'm going to put you on hold for a second because I have something over there boiling. So to get back on point, manifestation is the natural outcome of any process. And many times we get stuck with it still inside of the mind, or inside of the thinking of it, and then thinking of it this way, and then thinking of it this way. And we actually hold that energy because of fear of putting ourselves out there and just doing it. Because of our conditioning, how many of us have had dreams throughout our lives that the energy just kept going around in circles until it dissipated and it didn't become actualized in the world? And so during the spiritual awakening, we begin to have all of these ideas and understandings and realizations and things that just make us in awe. And at some point, we feel this calling that we have to share that. We have to put it out into the world, or even just some kind of invention or some kind of art piece, or get some kind of expression, right? Because if we are like a hose, right, or like a vortex, right, of energy flowing through us constantly, we are of the universe. We are of all that is. We are of creation. And when you completely understand this, and not just understand it in your mind, when it comes in and settles as a complete knowing, first of all of your sense of not belonging, I don't have a place in the world, insecurities fall away. because it is an it is an absolute. You belong just because you are, and you always were here in different forms, right? Every single cell in your body came from somewhere, and nothing disappears off the I want to say planet, but off of nothing disappears. It only changes form. It's malleable. Even your soul has been here forever and is in constant. When you get to these stages of the spiritual awakening, you begin to remember past lives. It's given, and when you begin to remember past lives, it's undeniable. You cannot deny it within yourself. It is a knowing, and when you get to the place of that complete knowing that you are of everything that is, you could call it God, you could call it the universe, you could call it creation, all that is perpetually, the perpetual all, the divine intelligence of creation of all that is. It's not even creator and the creation, because that is separate. It is all of creation is one, including me. And when you come into that place of complete knowing that, right? As we go through the spiritual awakening, as we rise into knowing that, we sit in that place for a while, and then we get these glitches where we fall out of. It's like falling out of heaven. It's like you go into heaven of the complete magnificence of everything that is, and knowing that you are inseparable and completely belong, and then you fall out when you hit something that triggers one of your spots that you're still holding, right? Because we're releasing expectation, we're releasing the need to control, we're allowing, we're going in, and then it's not like releasing and go lay on the beach and be a beach bum. When you release, and you do it it's a gradual, healthy way, because if you do, sometimes it can happen like really fast, but typically it's release. It's like a pulsation. You release, and then you have a tendency to fall back. You get triggered, and you will always get triggered if you are out of alignment. You will always get triggered. You don't have to worry about missing any kind of opportunities, because those opportunities, as long as you are out of alignment with all that is, you will be triggered. And once you are in alignment, those triggers will just fall. You won't even see them anymore, because you're not out of alignment. It's not like clunking along out of synchronicity with things, right? Because when you align yourself completely to yourself, you are also aligning yourself to cause and effect and to the external world. It's not that you won't see the cloggings, because the further you rise into this dimension, this higher dimension, this other dimension, this broader dimension, it withholds within itself also those lower vibrational dimensions. So you can still see them, only you become a master of them. So when you see somebody, and that's why a lot of us that are going through the spiritual awakening can also help others see places that they are stuck in them, because when you come into this other plane of being, you begin to see, when you are aligned, you can see where others are misaligned. It's really easy. It becomes child play, and that's where we're aiming for, because only with that can we rise into our higher self, sit in and take the reins of our own life back from our conditioning and our fear, and from the ego being the body, the avatar, right? That we were taught and trained in school to believe that this is, we go to school and they just put knowledge into our brain, things that are already known, and we begin to believe that we are our brain, or our capability. That's why many of us that have a real spiritual tendency, or a it's spiritual tendency. Everybody is spiritual, but those of us that have that are empaths, and that our gifts come from the emotional and the energetic palettes. Uh, many of us didn't find our way in school. We knew that we were highly intelligent, but it didn't receive any kind of representation in the normal system. And let's go ahead and bring this back to manifestation. So when the final form of any process is bringing it into to get representation within the physical world, because this is the playing field, this is the final, this is the finale. So if you are trying to manifest from within the physical world, you can do it, but it's a much slower, harder process, because then you are playing in things that have already been manifested. Everything that is in the physical form and in somebody was a thought first. Somebody thought of this chair. Somebody thought of this cup. Now, if I'm going to try to make something new, but I only am playing in the physical plane, then I am using manifestations that have already been created, other people's ideas that came into the physical world, and I'm playing and playing with things already manifested. Whereas if I can rise up into the ethers and bring an idea, some kind of something from the ethers, with then there's infinite possibilities, and bring that into a coherent thought, and then manage that thought and bring it into a full form before I bring it into the physical world. Then the manifestation is just like the tail end of the dog. You have this idea, it's already fully formed. First, it's like a cloud and energy and kind of an idea, and then you bring it slowly into detail, more detailed until it is completely detailed, and then it's just put it into the physical world. Find the way to make it happen. Now, if you are working with an inclination for glass ceilings of constraints, you put constraints on that in the physical world, you don't know your power, then a lot of times you are, first of all, only dreaming as big as you believe that you can do, which will already make your dreams this much smaller if you are stuck in conditioning and not purified, done all of the work yet. But when you release yourself, you can manifest anything. And in the physical world, when you try to bring it into the physical world, it's just a matter of being creative. Okay, what is the best way to do this? Now, if you have glass ceilings, you're not going to think, what is the best way to do this? You're going to think, how can I do this with as little means as possible? So you're making your idea much smaller and not seeing all of the options that are open for you. So when you bring something in, you say, okay, what is the best way to do this? And you release all of the limitations, then you can find that you can manifest things that far more simple than you think. And it becomes like a game in the physical world. Oh, I need this part. Well, how do I get this part? Oh, I don't have enough money to get this part, but there are other ways to get it. So then you start becoming creative. When you believe in something with such a belief that you are unshakable in that belief, you can always find a way to achieve that. Even find other people. If you believe in it, you can talk anybody into it if you believe in it. Well, maybe not anybody, because you're working with people that have their own constraints and their own glass ceilings. So, but you can find the way of bringing that into physical form, and and that is part of the spiritual work. The final form of the spiritual work is being able to apply it into the physical plane, because otherwise, what's it all worth? It's just up there in the ether somewhere as a form of an idea. If there's a book that is called, and what is his name? It is called As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. It is a must read. There's audiobooks on the internet. It is in free domain already, because it was written, I think, in 1905 or something like that, somewhere in the beginning of the 1900s or late 1800s. I think in the beginning of the 1900s. And it's magical. The book is magical. And the way that he wrote it is magical. And you think to yourself, he's not alive anymore, James Allen. as a man thinketh. But you think of if he hadn't brought all of that into a physical form of a book and left it for humanity, then all of that beautiful, he writes like it tickles your mind. You read it or you listen to it. He explains an idea, and then at the end of each part, I don't even think it's chapters, it's like part one, part two, or at the end of each part, he brings it together in like a beautiful, like what is the word when you kind of tell a story, but it's kind of like a rhyme, and it tickles your mind. It's like one of those things that is just like it's like candy to your mind. And and the ideas that he explains so simply and so concise and beautifully, I definitely recommend As a Man Thinketh audiobook. If it's about an hour to listen to it, and it's about an hour, but sometimes you have to stop it to really process what he said. It's one of those things that really goes so deep, and every time you listen to it, you get more from it. And had he not brought it into something physical, into manifestation, it would have been lost. Not only that, a lot of times when you step out to do something physical, you don't even know what the final product is the completion of it is going to look like. I'm sure that when he sat down to write those words, he didn't have all of the words in his mind. He had the concept, but only stepping forward and putting it into words is what brought it into life. So if you have an idea, there is a threshold. It is like you could see it as two pyramids, one coming down from the heavens, and there's a meeting point to where this is the receiving end, and then there is the opposite. Like this way, there's the opposite of it coming into the world, and at that point where it meets right here, it's a threshold, right? You could maybe see it like that, right? Coming in and then going out, right? So it's coming through us, and it wants to receive expression in the physical world through us. So there is a moment of switch in there. There is that moment at that threshold that it turns into us bringing it into the world, right? Not just in receiving mode, also in output mode. And that threshold is going at that flip place there is massive healing, because you have to be able to put yourself out there. You have to be at a stage in your healing that, right? It's because this is receiving, receiving, receiving. And at some point you'll quit receiving if you don't do anything with it. It's just there's no more space. It's like a cup that's already filled to the brim. And you feel an urge, because it's almost like you're exploding and it wants to keep flowing through you, because you have the capability of understanding it, and you still digging and digging and digging and digging. But what is all that digging worth if it doesn't receive the end of the process, which is bringing it into physical form of some way? Because whatever wants to be processed through you, you are your own unique filter. So it doesn't matter if there are a million other people bringing things forward on something that I've realized with myself. It doesn't matter how many people there are that are making videos about the same subject. The way that I bring it, the way that I explain it, the way that it flows through me, I am a filter, a very unique filter. I have my own very special way of wording things. I have my own unique way, and I'm not saying it in a way of the big head. I'm saying it matter of factly. I am the only one of me that ever has existed and ever will be in existence, in this shape and form. I am the only one makeup of exactly this, with the exact archetypes that are flowing through me, exact conditioning that I received and moved around a lot all of my life, and the traumas that I've gone through, and the things that I've overcome in my life, and the things that have shaped who I am, along with my own specific nature. Even if exactly me genetically was born again, it would be a completely different filter of whatever. So there's always place for you in the world, and being able to put yourself out there is it's like everything comes together to one point. It's also, not only are you going to be bringing that forth into the world, but it's also doing your healing for you, because having to be an expression means that you have to put yourself out there. It means that you're going to be pushing yourself beyond your limitations, your now limitations, right? Because you have unlimited you are unlimited, and all options are open for you in any moment. If I can do it, you can certainly do it. 10 years ago, I shied away from cameras. For most of my life, I was afraid to say my own opinion. I would I had my own opinion. I don't know if that's exactly right, but I did shy away from saying things that I thought, if they were a little bit woohoo, or a lot of times I did adopt, like, try to conform myself to fit in, or feel insecure because I felt like I didn't fit in, or that I was different. And now I see it as, yay, I'm different. I'm unique. I am. I have my own ideas and my own way of looking at things, my own understandings, and I see it more as a blessing. And thank God, thank God that I am in this awakening, because in my old life, I was on the path of being completely asleep in the rat race, running after superficial things. And I don't know if that ever could have come to play, because I also have this idea that whatever happens would have happened, because in every moment I would have made, with all of the given circumstances and understandings and experiences, in every given moment, I would have made the exact same decisions again and again and again. So I don't even know if that is accurate. There's part of me that says we have choice, and then there's part of me that says this was all written ahead of time, because any choice that I've made, I look back, and in that same place, even if a lot of times I say, oh, why did I do that? Why did I choose that? But there's a reason always why I did. And in the state that I was, that was the best that I could have done. And so bringing it back to manifestation, bringing something into physical form is like it makes that flow continuous. And it is the final part of any process. Because if you stop up here, first of all, you're not leaving what you potentially have come to leave. Even if you are watching this video until now, there is a reason why you are watching it. You can hear the truth ringing in it, and you understand, and you are at this brink. Otherwise, you would not be here right now. You are on the brink of that, or in the process of that. And I'm bringing just another piece of the puzzle for whoever is watching this for you. Another piece of the puzzle of, oh yeah, okay, so that's coming at it from a different way of looking at it, or in different words, or that's exactly what I'm going through. Or so understanding that bringing it into the physical form is also what is pushing you through your spiritual awakening, because you have this calling. You must do it. You have to do it. And it just wants to explode out of you. And it is also pushing you beyond your limits, which is expanding you and bringing you into a further along on your own path. So bring it into the physical world. There, to make that switch from in to out, to in to out, to in to out. And meditation helps. Meditate, meditate, meditate. I am sending you guys so much love. I hope that this was helpful and understandable and clear. I did the best I found the best words that I could to describe this. So I'm sending you guys so much love, and I really appreciate each and every one of you that is with me and watching. So thank you for that. And if you would like a session with me or further support, my website link is below. Thank you.